out of the tank.
You're not my daddy.
Get out of the fucking tank. I am your dad.
You're not my dad.
I am your dad. Get out of the fucking tank.
I'm in a tank and you're not.
I will call
I'm literally
tank.
in
Get
a
out of the fucking tank.
I'm literally in a tank. You're
Get
not.
out of the
You're not my dad.
Literally get out of the tank.
Tell Major Middleton. I don't give a fuck.
Get out of the fucking tank.
No.
Hey guys, what's up? It's Kaiser Pineapple, and welcome to our Tuesday stream. We are all set to go, and how y'all been? Yeah. Oh my goodness. Just kind of doing a little bit of behind the scenes stuff here. But yeah, we are in for part 5 of this excuse me, still working a little bit of the gunk off, but I can still talk. That's the good news. We are in for part 5 of working on this guy. And I can pretty well guarantee this will be the last episode for this guy right here. Because we're going to be putting him on his little disc stand here. You know, like that. Do some weathering and that kind of thing. I've got some of my my little weathering bits here. Fun. Got some additional little, bits and bobs. We'll do a little bit of additional detail work, but honestly, we're wrapping things up on this guy. And once he's done, we've got this guy to pick up and continue on with from whenever I started him on Saturday stream. So feel free to go back and check out Saturday's stream if you want to see this guy. We kind of got a little bit started there, and it would not be a normal stream if I did not immediately have problems with the camera focusing on all the wrong things. Yeah, whatever. All right, I give up. One of these days I'll figure that out, and my goal one of these days, if I can ever get up the the technology and whatnot, is to actually have a camera with a fixed focus, so I can actually move it where it needs to go, and I can show you guys what I'm looking at and that kind of thing, and just have the focus already pre-dialed in, so it's not going to move. There's no autofocus. Autofocus is great when it works. Problem is making sure it works. So, got my my usual, just shop rag, everything like that, ready to go. Got fresh water in the cup over there for washing out paints and such. Probably not going to use a lot of paints, if any, but that is, as they say, that. So it is time to get rolling. And before we do, we have our usual standard practice of pouring ourselves a glass. And yes, this bottle is as big as my head. There we go. That ought to do. Yarr. Reach that back there. Cheers, folks. Alrighty then. One of these days, if somebody asks, I'll do a lot more work with accents, because I used to be able to do them a lot better than I can now, but accents are always fun. I don't know why, they just are. All right. So, as I mentioned before, probably not going to have a whole lot to do with paints today, except if we get started on this. So, let's go ahead and swap cameras down. There we are. Kind of adjust, so that way my OCD is not freaking me out. And let's get rolling here. So I'm going to take some of these shinier bits like this copper and whatnot. Kind of want to smudge it up, dirty it up, that kind of thing. get a little bit on here, kind of make them a little bit more smudgy and dirty. Got some just regular old Q-tips, to go with these. And I'll turn these around so they're a little easier to see for the camera. So as you can see here, we've got a couple of different things on these. So we've got orange rust, gunmetal, silver, snow, soot, and a darker shade of rust. So that's kind of what we'll be working with a little bit there today, having a little fun. All right. Also, something you might have noticed in here is that it's a little brighter than usual. Well, thanks to my lovely wife, who happened to be helping her folks clear out their house. They're moving back to their house that they recently renovated. They were getting rid of a really nice stand lamp, and she happened to remember that months ago I said I was in the market for a stand lamp again. They had one, they were getting rid of it, so she picked it up for me. So hey, free of charge. And with a LED light bulb that is a 100 watt equivalent, yeah, that's very high. Really bright. It's just a little bit over there off the side of the camera, over by the window. It really brightens this room up a lot, so that way it doesn't look like I'm, trying to do this in a very dark room like it used to. Because usually all I've got is my desk lamp, like right over here. I've got a lamp over there on the edge of my desk, and I got one other lamp over there in the corner. That's all my light, and those are maybe 40 watt equivalent, so it's usually pretty dim in here anyway. And again, excuse me, still working things off the pipes. But every day I'm sounding better and don't have to work as hard to talk. I'm sounding more and more normal every day, so that's definitely a major plus. All right, anyway, camera down. Let's go ahead and get started. A little OCD protection there. All right. So, kind of move you where he's a bit more centered in my workspace here. So, first things first, I need to kind of sand down on the bottom there. It's a little bit uneven. I did a little bit just to kind of, test where I was at, but need to get this bottom edge flat so that way I can put it onto here without any major issues. So for that, we just got some coarse grit sandpaper, and just going to very carefully kind of grip this guy and just very gently just try and work him around on that sandpaper. Try and work some of that off. Get a lot of dust off of that. So you can already see where some of the higher spots have already been taken off in the process of trying to level this out. Really isn't going to take a whole lot because I'm going to put down a pretty substantial amount of glue to try and hold him in place. And you notice I'm not doing like straight up and down. I'm doing circles, which gets a lot more coverage and is a whole lot more even. Oh, yeah. Yeah, he still has a tendency to wobble a little bit. And that, I don't need this to be absolutely 100% perfectly flat. Again, because we're going to be gluing it to this base, and this base is perfectly flat. So I'm trying to make things a little easier on myself so that way I don't have to really hold this down the whole time while it settles up and everything like that. I'll probably have to put a little bit more glue here and whatnot. Probably need to take this center part down because I can see just looking at it from the side, you can notice that it's not quite 100% flat. And that's to be expected. I mean, these are plastic, minis and that kind of thing. So just takes a little bit of work to level them out and whatnot. And then you put them on these and they pretty much won't ever move again. So they're fine. I could get more aggressive with it if I wanted to, but I don't think that's appropriate in this case. It's not really needed. So as far as gluing goes, because that's going to require us to let this boy sit and dry, we're going to set that off to the side for now. We're going to focus on doing our detail work here. So for one thing, we're going to start with, I'm actually going to throw out my towel. And we're going to be working on him down here. One, because it might be a little easier for you to see. Kind of adjust my light here. And also get a little bit better light on, on him to begin with. There we are. Kind of tilt that just a nudge so it's not like getting my eyes. All right. So, like I said before, this isn't going to take us a whole lot of time. Move that out of the way. So we'll go ahead and pop these open. They come with their own applicator, and I do use that on some things, but if I want to make sure that I absolutely keep colors separate, like on this, yeah, I'll use a little these Q-tips, and I get like a box of 100 of these at the Dollar Tree for literally a box of 300 for like $1. So I'm not really worried too much. All right, so we're getting a little bit of the darker rust first. We're going to kind of just brush that on a little bit there. Okay. All right, so yeah, you can see I was using a little bit of the soot before and I got on there, so that's kind of why you try to be careful and not do what I just did there. Thankfully, it's easy to fix. Yeah, it seems to be absorbed. This brand of Q-tips seems to be absorbing this a whole lot better than the last batch that I tried this with. So either they switched manufacturers or something, because that's not normal. Trying to keep that edge a little bit shinier. There we go. Let's get some of this orange rust over here. Not going for a lot, just more surface rust kind of look in a few areas. Down here on the hammerhead, we're going to really hit that with a little bit of this. Get some of that surface rust color in there. mainly want the highest concentration of the color like on the edges and whatnot, so trying to keep some of it a little bit restrained off of the flatter edges and just kind of leave it on the corners. Get some on these little steel arm spikes, get a little bit back there on that little bulb at the back end of his arm. Hit it a little heavier on this one. There we go. Get some around here. All right, now I'm going to get in here, get a little bit of soot. Going to make these a little less shiny. Dig into those corners. Pretty much all those nice shiny copper spots. And we kind of want to deaden those just a smidge. Okay. Get some smudgy spots here on his back. Could be anything from battle damage, could just be a little bit of, just wear and tear. Who knows? It's whatever you want it to be. Just a little bit of moisture there so I can kind of clean up that edge just a little bit. Doesn't have to be perfect, but I definitely want to make it look a little bit, more used, so that way, you don't have that kind of rusty look on the edge of a nice sharp axe. All right. So, already got in some of these corners here. So, I had mentioned previously that I did want to get a little bit of something in these little lines, and I just kept forgetting about it. So we are going to break out a little bit of paint. We're going to get that done. Try not to make too much of a big deal of it. And that way we can get this done. We need a very fine tip brush here. Use one of my nail art brushes that I got for Christmas last year. I do get comments on sometimes, like from folks that I know. They're like, "The heck are those pink brushes that you were using?" I'm like, "Yeah, I didn't pick the color myself, but they're very, very good at what they do. They're nail art brushes." I get a little water in there, kind of make this a little easier, a little more pliable. I get another drop. And yeah, it was just one of those. And I'm like, I have not yet found anybody else in the model making whatever community that makes brushes with tips this small. So there's a natural progression. Go ahead and get myself some. I think they were like $10 for a set of 3 on Amazon. Real easy. Not a lot of bait. It's like not a lot to them. But yeah, because they're so damn small, it makes it very easy for me to get in there and do all kinds of details that with the other brushes that I have just is not going to cut it. There we go. Get a little bit of that in there so you have some wiring definition between those little, let's just call them coils. And I got a little bit outside. I got a little bit on the side of that there. No big deal. I can actually fix that fairly easily. Probably just go ahead and add a little bit more of this copper paint to it. Yeah. Real easy to fix. No big deal. So got that all set there. All right. And so while that's drying, we're going to get a little bit more detail work here, because I really want the red glow in the eyes to really pop. So I think we're done with these for now. Grab a towel. Grab a little bit of that XF7. Nice bright red. There we go. Get those nice and bright. Trying not to stick my paintbrush in my whiskey glass. And here in a sec, once this dries a little bit, I'm going to put a little bit of some like little white dots here, kind of look like some shine off those eyes. Really kind of complete that look. All right. So while that's going on, we're going to get a little bit of wash here. Yeah, dark black wash. And I'm not so worried about cutting it this time, because I'm just really going to use this to kind of go around the outside edges and the inside edges, I should say, the feet. Create just a little more definition of where the feet end and the rock begin. Nothing too crazy. Mostly just letting fluid dynamics take its course there. Path of least resistance, work its way into those crevices. All we got to do is occasionally guide it just a smidge. There we go. Okay. There we are. Got that little extra bit of definition down there around the feet. The great thing about that wash is that it'll give us that little bit of a shadowing effect, and then it'll actually just kind of work its way in there. And then whatever's excess, it'll just kind of evaporate off. Oh, I made a whoopsie. Rubbed a little bit of that soot off his little copper dome thingy here. There we go. Oakley dokley. Eyes appear to have dried, so I was working with some of this white earlier, so I should be all nice and properly mixed this time. I only need a very tiny amount to make some little dots. Make some little eye highlights there. There we go. And those little highlights in the eyes. Give them that slightly more menacing kind of shiny eye look. There we go. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is what we've been building towards this entire time. So yeah, this is the Warforged Titan in all of its glory. So let me go ahead and grab the actual wizard's image of this thing. There we go. Come on. Darn autofocus likes to focus on whatever it wants to except what I'm wanting it to. There we go. So here's what we've been building toward. So kind of what I based it off of versus what I ended up actually with. I'm actually very happy with how this turned out. You got these nice rusty looking metal spikes that run down the arms. You got that big hammer. Come on. Come on, camera. There we go. Yeah, I got this nice big rusty hammer. Did some blue and red for the little tubes that run through the arms down here. And try and just use something like this to point stuff out. Just use my X-Acto. So yeah, the little arms here got these kind of red and blue tubes, kind of more to look like veins or arteries or something like that. Got the nice bright red eyes that glow. Got the glowing red runes on the side. Tried to really dirty and smudge them up, but you can still see that nice bronze color through there. The iron bands that hold everything are kind of rusted a little bit. Got that nice patina. Kind of blends together well with the bronze. And then you got the this very menacing axe blade right here. Similar to the hammerhead on the other side, but yeah, definitely not something you would ever want to encounter. That's kind of the goal here. So this is what we've been working toward this entire time. So if you remember back to the first episode that we did of this whole series, yep, this guy was just a big old lump of white plastic. And now look at him. Fearsome and ready to wreck some players' day on Saturday. So, yeah, I'm really proud of how this turned out. Get the nice definition there and the rivets and everything. All right. We are going to put the very last couple little touches on here. I'm going to darken up some of these rivets in the feet just so they stand out a little bit more. And then we are going to seal coat this guy and we're done. After we attach him to the base, that is. A little bit of panel liner. Get most of the excess off here. And this panel liner stuff, we do not need a lot of. Yeah, we're just touching these up slightly. Make sure I get as much excess off as possible. All right. Excuse me. Clean up some of those. Get a little bit of that moved away there. Yep. This bad boy is ready for clear coat. I want to get him good and sealed before I go ahead and try to do anything with attaching him to the base. So for this in particular, I'm going to use just a little bit of good old-fashioned matte coat. And yes, I do have ventilation in here, so don't get all bent out of shape. I'm actually going to pull him over here, over my trash can, so I don't spray directly on anything important. Probably ended up using a lot more of that than I needed to, but I'm trying to make sure I get good coverage. All right. That should be good. And that matte coat will actually dry fairly quickly. And while that's drying, get our glue. I'm just using some hobby glue that I can get from my local hobby shop, Hobbytown, USA. Fantastic place if you ever get the chance. There we go. And this sometimes happens with this type of glue. Even when it's all nice and sealed up, sometimes it can get a little bit gunked up. There we go. Nice and free flowing. There we go. Try and eliminate as many gaps as I can. Now I'm just kind of like smudging around what I've got. Try and move as much excess to the center away from the outer edges. Gonna have a little bleed over, but that's not too big of a deal. And we'll just kind of hold him down for a bit. This stuff sets fairly quickly, so I shouldn't have too much to worry about there. There we go, starting to get some set. Get just a little bit more pressure on this edge here. So that's sitting there like that. I'm going to grab a little clip here. So I can kind of do a little bit of a pinch there. Bring that down. There we go. Make sure I got good adhesion on all sides. And now we're going to have a nice flat set. All right, folks. Now we play the waiting game on that one. Let all the setting there take place. Let me get one more clip on the edge of that. There we go. Set him over here. And that way we can let him drive. And that is the Warforged Titan in a nutshell. So we'll obviously show him off whenever he is absolutely done and completed and dried, I guess you could say. In the meantime, we'll just move right on to this guy, this Warforged Cleric we started on Saturday. So, there we go. Got a little bit more of this white. Because I noticed a patch that we missed on Saturday. And so we're going to go ahead and take care of it. We're going to rinse out that brush in particular. I'm going to go for this guy. I guess something got into these bristles and gummed them up a little bit. So just putting a little bit of a solvent on there kind of help break some of that up. Wash it out. There we go. Get any off my hands that I had. Those little hard to reach gaps can be such a pain. Okay. All right. Unfortunately, didn't use all that red in time. But we're going to have use for some more here. Let me look up something really quick. There we go. All right. I'm not too worried about getting paint on these raised areas yet. I don't want to get red so much on top of them if I can avoid it, just because red is typically a bit harder to cover up, but I'm not really worried about it. Not gonna lie, kind of sad. Usually somebody comes and hangs out for a bit in the chat and at least says hi or something. Nobody showed up tonight. And kind of, not gonna lie, a little bummed about that. It's not like this week hasn't, well, last week and a half hasn't been, not like it's been a slow news week, that's for damn sure. Like I say, if anything, the news lately has been like drinking from a fire hose. All right. Not a lot of commentary because I keep getting focused really intensely on what I'm doing here, so. My bad, guys. There we go. Got a little bit of that started anyway. That part's going to take a while to dry. Let that dry on that end. While that's happening, let's see, what do we want to do next? There's some additional details and stuff like that on him that I really would like to hit with some other darker colors, get some definition in there. Okay. We'll do a little bit more, and then we're already at 54 minutes, so getting close to that 1 hour mark, and I need to actually get some reasonable sleep tonight because I did not sleep worth a darn yesterday. And I'm definitely regretting it today because of all that. I was very nearly falling asleep, or at least definitely having a hard time keeping my eyelids apart today. You know, we use a little bit of a darker, kind of a gunmetal gray, or silver, I should say, on these knee pads. Oh, somebody messaged me. It was one of my personal messaging apps and stuff like that. Excuse me. There we go. Got a little more definition work on him. Working on getting that these base coats down, so that way I can get into that detail work. Yeah, that's a good start. All right, well, he's got a lot of areas that need to dry, and yeah, it looks like our Warforged Titan buddy over there is going to be drying for a good long while too. So what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to go ahead and close out for the night. I know it's a little bit earlier than I'm used to, but yeah, I'm getting tired. I can definitely feel the cracks starting to form, and I need to get to bed. And say we got into some last minute end of year closing stuff to finish out tomorrow at work. So that's always fun. Anyway, guys, my name's Kaiser Pineapple. Be sure to like and share, subscribe to the video, subscribe to the channel. Definitely, if you like what I do, let people know about it. Hit that like button, as I said. And yeah, totally blanking there. Yeah, probably a good idea that I'm shutting this down early. Anyway, guys, my name's Kaiser Pineapple. Have a good night. I will see you again Thursday at 9 p.m. Eastern. Hopefully by then I'll have had a chance to get a little bit more sleep. But otherwise, thank you guys so much. Have a great night. And I'll see you on Thursday, 9 p.m. Eastern.